Princess Peach Showtime is the first game to star Princess Peach in 19 years. After first being teased during a June 2023 Nintendo Direct, there was a lot of mystery surrounding this game until it was finally released on March 22nd, 2024. I personally chose to dodge the Princess Peach Showtime demo that was released on March 7th, so everything was a complete surprise to me when I picked this game up on launch day. As soon as I started up the game, something became abundantly clear to me. Good lord, these graphics are quite rough. Listen, I want to acknowledge that graphics aren't everything when it comes to video games. For the most part, I would say that the graphics are okay enough where it doesn't make the game absolutely unplayable. Plus, it's pretty much common knowledge that the Nintendo Switch is an underpowered machine. But these graphics are honestly a bit atrocious even for Nintendo standards. The textures often look quite low quality, with some parts looking like something straight out of a goddamn Game Boy game. The aliasing in this game is pretty ridiculous, with Peach's edges looking jagged enough to cut metal with. And of course, it wouldn't be a janky game without some frame rate drops. Personally, I don't mind too much about lower frame rates, like if a game dips below 60 frames per second every so often, I'm fine with just kind of putting up with it. But with Princess Peach Showtime, it feels like so much of the game is dipping to really low frame rate. Sometimes it feels like I'm just playing this game at like 15 frames per second or something. And what was especially surprising to me was that even during some of the cutscenes, the frame rate would drop, which is really weird because I feel like so far Nintendo has been doing a really good job at making all of their cutscenes in their newest games look just very beautiful. Hell, even the cutscene that they showed during the untitled Princess Peach game teaser was a higher frame rate than what we ended up getting in the final game. Once again, I will say that the graphics don't completely ruin the game. It's not like my eyes are falling out just by looking at this game, but it does feel like night and day when you play Princess Peach Showtime and then switch to a higher frame rate game like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now put on your tinfoil hats, everybody, because here comes my big conspiracy theory. The Nintendo Switch is in its final stretch, and Nintendo seems to be squeezing as much as they possibly can out of their current system, with rumors reporting that the Nintendo Switch 2 has been delayed from 2024 to 2025. Per Schlapp's, Nintendo originally planned for Princess Peach Showtime to be a Switch 2 game, only to end up having to cram it on the current Nintendo Switch. But that's just a theory, a video game theory. Speaking of Nintendo's next console, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel to keep up with all of my videos about the Nintendo Switch 2. Now hopping into the actual game, I think the overall concept of Princess Peach Showtime is an incredible one. This game takes place in the Sparkle Theater, which essentially serves as the hub world. And upon starting the game, you explore the lobby, which feels like you're arriving in a real-life theater. There are several stages, aka levels, which each have their own individual theme. That in itself already has really great potential for some interesting variety throughout the game. You have the sort of France-looking level, the Old West level, the cute bakery level, and more. Within each level, Peach is able to obtain a unique ability that lasts until you leave the stage. And each ability also gives Peach a different outfit for her to wear. Now as a grown-ass man, can I just say that these outfits are adorable. The Mermaid Peach, Cowgirl Peach, and Patissiere Peach are all some of the cutest darn things I've ever seen. And I've seen baby sloths. So something that I think Princess Peach Showtime does a pretty good job at is offering a wide variety of gameplay. With all of the unique themes and all of the transformations that give you different abilities, it's really cool that as you go level through level in this game, each one will hit you with something new and different. So for example, you can spend one level fighting off a bunch of enemies as Sword Fighter Peach, then the next level you'll be decorating a bunch of cakes, and then the next level you can be trying to solve a mystery as Detective Peach. I was actually quite surprised that the levels are more involved than I expected. Honestly, I thought the gameplay would be as simple as the Super Mario Bros. Games, just run to the right and get to the end of the level. And there is a bit of simple 2D side-scrolling in this game, but there is also more than meets the eye in each level. You can talk to the locals of each level, explore in 2.5D environments, and find secret challenges throughout the stages. So something I do commend Princess Peach Showtime for is basically not allowing you to be bored throughout the game. As soon as you finish one level with a certain type of gameplay, then it suddenly will whip you into something completely different in the next stage. Now, something that has been a bit controversial about Princess Peach Showtime is the difficulty, or lack thereof. Even as a pretty mediocre gamer myself, I can admit that Princess Peach Showtime is quite easy. But is that a bad thing? Well, I think what makes Princess Peach Showtime so easy is that it is a pretty straightforward and simple game. Whether it's the fact that enemies are basically one-hit kills, you're often given multiple extra hearts throughout the stage. Hell, it even adopts the lives gimmick from Super Mario Odyssey, where if you completely lose all of your hearts during a stage, it'll just take some coins and then you can continue where you left off. For me, the moment I realized that Princess Peach Showtime was going to be an easier game was when the game explains the controls to you, and pretty much the only button you'll have to worry about in this game is the B button. The B button is pretty much the do-it-all button of Princess Peach Showtime. When you're normal Peach, the B button serves as an attack, as a way to revive the locals, and a way to interact with the environment to get little secrets. And then when you get different Peach transformations, the B button is always just whatever ability the transformation has. Hell, even some of the boss battles in Princess Peach Showtime were quite easy. They all pretty much follow the classic Nintendo formula that we know by now, where you get 3 hits on the boss and then it's over. With that being said, something I did appreciate about the boss battles in Princess Peach Showtime is that they are each very different, and you know, it's not like the Mario effect where we always have to see the goddamn Koopa kids every time. At least in Princess Peach Showtime, we had some very interesting and unique bosses throughout the game. Now, with all of that being said, I'm not gonna lie, I did not mind at all that this game was quite easy. Listen, we don't have to talk about the fact that this is a Princess Peach game, so it has to be easy to appeal to children and whatever. The fact that Princess Peach Showtime is a bit on the easier side, I think can actually be a good thing. First off, this game is riding on the success of the recent Super Mario Bros. Movie, and with Nintendo even changing Peach's face on the cover to reflect the movie more, I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect that many people who saw the Mario Bros. Movie will now get into the Princess Peach game. So the fact that this game is quite easy, I think will appeal to new gamers, whether young or old. I can just imagine someone who is brand new to video games playing Princess Peach Showtime, seeing some of these large-scale and epic-feeling boss battles, and that's what they will remember for the rest of their life. It's just like how we all remember how epic the Bowser boss battle in Super Mario 64 was, and nowadays people just speedrun it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I think Princess Peach Showtime could make for a very fun introduction for new gamers. It's not as difficult as something like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, but it does have enough depth and variety to it where it feels like a true video game. Also, I'm not gonna lie, with video games nowadays being so focused on open worlds and giant boss battles and explosions and all kinds of action stuff, I was actually really happy to unwind and relax with a Princess Peach game. Now recently, Nintendo has been under quite a bit of controversy because of the pricing of their latest games, and Princess Peach Showtime is no exception. This game comes in at the full $60 US. So it does raise the question of whether or not this relatively simple, short, and easy game is worth $60. Now for me personally, I've actually somewhat outgrown the idea of comparing a game's length to the dollar value. I honestly think that there are some games on the shorter side that are more worth a higher dollar value than some longer games. Princess Peach Showtime takes about 7 hours before rolling credits, and that pretty much only covers the main story of the game. There are some little bonus challenges that you can take on. You can try to 100% the game by collecting all of the little sparkles throughout the stages, and there are even some unlockables after you finish the main story. With all of that being said, I will admit that this is quite a short game. I've seen many online streamers playing through this entire game in one sitting, so I can totally see why $60 US is a pretty controversial price for this game. I think had Nintendo priced this game at 40 US dollars or even 50 US dollars, it would probably be much easier to justify picking up this game. I mean, if you're absolutely dying to play as Princess Peach, then yeah, go for it. This is a very like quality game, I feel like. But since Princess Peach Showtime is 60 US dollars brand new, with a shorter length, the simple gameplay, and some of the graphic issues, I might have to say it's better if you just wait for this to go on sale. But Princess Peach Showtime isn't the only game with a controversial price. If you want to hear more about other Nintendo games with a high price tag, make sure you check out the video below. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Princess Peach Showtime. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of our members. My name is Chase, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.